Well, I just appreciate you saying that, Fernando. And I just realized that unfortunately, I'm just now realized that I have not been recording this call. So that is very unfortunate for for a playback here later. So we'll just have to start this all over again and get at it. Uh, just kidding. I appreciate you saying that, Fernando. And for anyone that's down there in that South region, it'd be very smart business move to look Fernando up and work directly with him for his surplus. Fernando's a longtime breeder down there, and he knows that meat cycle obviously as you heard from this call. So definitely think about that. Brad, I think I did want to get back to you on the on how you're handling the slaughter dates up there. Are you booking a year out, and what's your flow look like in that regard?
Yeah, it's been a bit insane, to be honest with you. It used to be like anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 weeks to about 3 months was kind of average, I would say. But since COVID came in, it just got messed up in a hurry. So last year, I think it was probably last May, I had all my dates booked till the end of 2023. Yeah, so that being said, I think most butcher shops around are trying to refrain from booking any further. But yeah, I'm booked solid till the end of 2023. Like Christian said, there's no there's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't think. It's just I book about 2 every other week. And then I'll throw in a couple here or there at a different butcher that does a better job with cull cows. Usually about 2 a month at that butcher, and then I'll have 4 to 6 a month at the other butcher, depending on the time of year. And I just said to them that I just said to them that they need to be okay if I have to cancel, and I'll try to give them as much time as possible if I have to cancel a date. But they're asking me to book animals that haven't hit the ground yet, and so it's I don't think I'm being unreasonable in asking that. And like I said, I have a good relationship with both of them for the most part, and the one in particular that I like to use, and so they're very accommodating to that. So yeah, so we don't like to book as far in advance as we have, but we don't really have much choice. And like I said before, there's not really a lot of good butchers in our area, so we have to kind of work with what they give us. And we're all pretty accommodating to one another. I'd love to get stuff in sooner, but it's like Christian had, we had like a surplus in beef going into March. So it, had we not had that, I may be speaking a different tune right now, but going into that, we had quite a few freezers just jam-packed full, and 6 weeks later, it was empty, but at least we had bookings and we had animals ready to go and all that stuff. So yeah.
So I'm going to ask this question to any three of you guys can answer it. We know that the challenge with retail is that the public's always kind of changing their mind and changing on what cuts they're getting and stuff. So what are you guys doing with cuts that just no one seems to be picking up? Are you just eliminating that, you turn into hamburger, you get creative with it? What's some options you guys are doing?
Yeah, for me, I try to stick to the main cuts. If there's ever a time where the cut doesn't sell or whatever, which is I mean, again, COVID has changed the game a little bit. Like there's been times where I've brought in a whole cow and it's been random and it's gone in a day and a half kind of thing, and it doesn't seem to matter. People just got so excited to get stuff, But if ever there's like something like, say, for instance, I always seem to have an excess of strip line and sirloin steaks. I'll put together a mixer box or whatever, maybe knock it down 10%, throw in a cooler bag that has our logo on it, and that stuff tends to sell. And then I might take a break from that for a couple months and not make it available, and then reintroduce that if something fills up again. I'm thinking of roasts and stuff, like coming out of the winter time, maybe you got some extra roasts there, they're not going to sell as quickly as you want to move them, so you throw them in a mixer bag or something like that. And for me, that tends to move things a little bit. So.
Brad, before this, I was looking through everyone's social media pages and looking, it did look like for Brad, and I assume this is probably, last year sometime, when you originally started out, it looked like, in your deep freezes that you had people, reaching clear to the bottom. And then since then, it looks like you kind of put like a false bottom in there, just kind of bring the product up so people could access it easier.
Yeah, I try to keep it like at the top and then be underneath, because they're just regular chest freezers, like household chest freezers at the moment. I do have plans of putting in, like Christian has more of a like display freezers with glass doors and the like, but just not in the cards at the moment. And in all honesty, the product moves regardless. So it's I'm more doing it for aesthetics, or looking at doing it for aesthetics. But I try to make sure that it's up high, it's close to the surface, so that people don't have to dig too deep. The only thing that we don't really display high is when I have 600 pounds of ground beef filling one entire freezer. It probably sits high, but as time goes on and it sells and gets down lower, I may try to stack it in such a way that it's as high in the freezer as I can get it without it toppling over or something. But
Thanks, I appreciate that. So I got a couple questions left here, and then if anyone else is gonna comment, but I'd like all three to answer this question. Where do you see yourself and your business in 10 years? Brad, we'll start with you.
I'm getting all the questions. That's a tough thing to say. My wife and I are trying to buy the farm off of her parents, take over and do that. So that's first and foremost, is actually sinking our teeth into this farm financially, or more financially, I guess, than what we have. But yeah, I set a goal of like 50 to 60 steers a year, I thought would be enough. And this year we've surpassed that. So I've kind of moved further to more, as far as retail goes, 100 steers a year is kind of where I'd like to be, in whatever fashion that is, whether it be starting to work with more restaurants, starting to add other retail locations, making myself more available in our retail setting, or employing somebody to do retail for us. But yeah, that's kind of the goal right now, is just to keep slowly growing, not biting off more than I can chew, and whether that be physically or financially, right? Like, I don't want to dump everything I own into it. I just want to grow organically as the market shifts and changes. So,
Christian, you tackle that one, please. Where you see your business or yourself there in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, like we've pretty much maxed out what we can produce, like on our farm, with our labor situation and everything. So for us to expand, I need to look outside a little bit more, get more people involved. If I could find people to finish me animals, that would be ideal. But that also comes with my struggle with getting butcher dates. So we could easily I could probably sell 150 head a year. Right now I can't get the butcher dates for that, and I don't have the finished animals for that. I think this year we'll do around 70 to 75, and that's not even close to what we could sell. So I don't totally know how to get that expansion yet. Like most things that's happened so far, it is kind of a organic process and things kind of happen. But like I do need to expand to make sure it stays a viable business, because in reality, I'm only going to be doing this as long as I can turn a profit and make money. Like, you know, farms can become money pits if you let them, and if you don't treat them like businesses. And as long as I can sustain a viable business, I'll keep on going with it. But that depends on a lot of factors going forward, and I can't totally answer what the way forward is, but there has to be one for it to keep on going. So I guess we'll see.
Fernando, will you tackle that question, please?
Sure. I pretty much, you know, I don't think I'm going to be growing so much more unless we get, you know, some family members involved, because, you know, I'm big as I want to be. I could start mail orders, I could do a lot of things, but it's going to be a problem. You know, it's just we don't have enough time in the day to be able to do all the things that we have to do. So the time is, you know, is the enemy, and what, you know, I'm pretty much satisfied where I'm at, and I just want to maintain this level unless, you know, we get some further help, because the help is the problem. If you're going to grow, you need to have a lot more people, and that's where, you know, the growth pattern for me is not in my plans because of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we're talking, you know, different age groups as well through here, so you kind of get to see a little bit of as it goes along. So that was kind of my idea of panelist, and it was, appreciate you guys answering those questions honestly. And I think it does kind of stand out here that you know, for some of the smaller breeders that maybe don't want to get into the direct marketing and run it, some of that. I mean, you got at least two guys on this call that are, you know, looking for animals, for finished animals. So you know, maybe that's your avenue for a new breeder coming in, and is not ready to tackle that. You know, you could be finishing animals, some for yourself, and then you could sell some to Christian, or figure out how to get them to Brad if things ever change. And there's other breeders as well that can do the same thing. So and my last question, I think I'll start with you, Fernando, is, you know, what advice would you give someone that's just starting out, you know, a new farmer that's thinking about doing direct marketing, maybe doing farmers markets? What advice would you give them?
It's not easy. You just got to be constant. Okay, you're gonna go. There's gonna be days you're gonna go out there, and, you know, you're gonna say, why am I doing this? And you just have to be constant, and, you know, just have your goal, and little by little things pick up. For me, it's been, you know, little by little, gaining a customer, another customer, and that's the way it's been for me. So it's not easy. I've had, you know, I haven't relied on the farm to produce the income, because I have other means of income that come from the farm investments that I've done. And so, you know, it's just not easy to get into it. But once you're in it, okay, and you got your clientele, then everything, you know, it comes out good.
Christian?
So that's
like I would say, like, determine like what type of business you want to have and to treat it like a business. So if you want to sell 20 holes halves or retail, or if you want to sell 200, you need to be able to scale to that amount. And that goes into the whole thing with storage. And investment back in the business. What a lot of times people with farms, like whenever they're putting money into it, it's always in the manner of tractors and fence and a new corral or new aluminum trailer or something. But like that's not going to sell you anything as far as retail. Like if your business is going to be retail beef sales, then you need to invest in that side of it. So that's you got to put money into walk-in freezers if you're going to be selling retail, or if you have a cold storage facility, you got to be willing to pay people for rental, and you got to maintain an inventory to be able to sell to people year round. So that's one side of it, and then you have investments into the business as far as social media goes and like websites. You need to have a good point of sale system. If people are ordering online, that's like a whole nother thing. And at some point, like Fernando says, there's only so much time in the day to do everything. If you want to run a good business, you're probably going to have to hire something out. So if you can build a website, great, but don't build a crappy website. I'd much rather pay somebody. Like we've kind of worked with our website for the last couple of years. We've redone a few things, but like I explained in the beginning, we're hiring it out now, and we're going to pay this firm, like it's probably going to be over $10,000 to totally redo our website, redo the point of sale, make it so we can have an online shopping cart. And that's just part of growing a business. Like every projection they give us, that the increased traffic and the ease of buying will easily pay for itself in the first year for that $10,000, $12,000. So like it's definitely a big investment to make it a real business, but maybe look at that instead of buying a new tractor.
Okay, Brad, you're up. What advice you giving a newbie?
Start small. Like Christian's saying, like Fernando's saying, don't go deep too quick. And I think for me, it's honesty and integrity as well, like making sure that you aren't taking the easy or the cheap route just to make a buck. If you want to grow and expand and be successful, I believe that you need to make sure you're doing it right, not cutting corners, and being honest with your customers. That's where I look back at how we started, and I felt like I was always honest and had some integrity there, but it was like a lot of trust from the customer side of things, but yeah, and that's worked for us. So that's where I would, if I had to point somebody in their direction, I would just say, like, start small, don't bite off more than you can chew. I think somebody on our forum had asked about getting into Devons and where they should start. And a lot of the comments were, start with steers, get a couple steers, graze them out, see how you like it. See where you're, like how much time it takes to do that. And then, then you got the other side of things. How much time is it going to take to sell all that meat or those animals, right? So, yeah, start small, focus on honesty and integrity.
That's great, guys. Appreciate that. James, I wasn't trying to ignore your question either. I apologize. I see you did get a response there, and I'm not familiar with what she's doing out there, but it sounds like kind of back to like the dry aged beef. I mean, if there's a market there for someone, then you have a chance to capture that and make some money at a premium. I think go for it. It's just a little bit, you have to know that market's there before you're just, taking a young animal and taking its life and then not, getting reimbursed for that. So, where can we find everybody on social media? And Brad started that Red Devon forum. And that's a great informal place to be, to bounce ideas off other people and get some advice back from these
That's on
guys.
Facebook.
Yep, it's on Facebook. Anywhere else, Brad?
So the Red Devon Forum, Red Devon USA, each one of us has our own Facebook page. Any one of us on this call has our own Facebook page under our farm names. I don't know how many is, I think Christian, maybe Fernando and myself have Instagram pages. Don't know that you have any Instagram on your side of things. I don't have any Twitter or anything like that. I've heard good things from other farmers, but more for live animal sales using Twitter. But personally, I'm Facebook and Instagram. Those are my two social media, and just looking up Opoma Farms. That's my farm name.
And if anybody's looking for to try to source somebody or looking for beef in a certain region, we're always going to refer people back to the breeders list. We always, I mean, it's kind of like a broken record sometimes, the breeders list, but that's money well spent to get on the website's breeders list. And that way people can find you, whether you have something to sell right now or you're going to have something to sell in the future. Just start making those contacts and reaching out to any questions. Everyone that's on this call has you can find us our information on the breeders listing on our Red Devon USA website. So okay guys, appreciate it. Thanks for everyone getting on the call. Sorry that I didn't record the whole thing. That was a blunder on my end, but hey, I'll get better. Thanks everyone, appreciate you being there, and I'm gonna hop off.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. Take care,
All
folks.
right. Thank you.
So yeah.
Thanks, Fernando.
All right. Bye.